like the way it's shaping up is Josh, Andre, possible if they win, the next matchup be Fedor, or is that where Randy steps in and they do that matchup that they've been talking about? Because a lot of fans think you have the tools to beat Fedor.
Well, that's true, and I'm carrying around not just a tool bag. I got one of those big, like, giant snap-on tool cases, you know, with all the multiple drawers and all that on wheels. Yeah, I got one of those.
Well, I told people if Josh would have been on Fedor like Mark Hahn was, I think that would have been a tap right there. That was my personal opinion.
But, you know, beating Fyodor is going to be tough for anybody. He's not where he is because he's a chump. And that fight, if it does happen, would be pretty spectacular. At least I really hope that it would be. You know, the kind of thing that would be remembered not just on paper, but for the actual result of it too. People will be really taken by it. That would make me incredibly happy. Since he is a really good friend of mine, a fighter I respect a lot, I'd want us to go out looking fabulous, you know, out of that whole thing. But as far as like Randy stepping in and fighting anybody, you know, I'd like to say if he thinks he's stepping over people like myself, you know, who the hell is he to do that? He doesn't deserve a shot versus Fyodor more than anybody else does. And if you want to fight the best, if you want to be the best, you're going to fight the best. So either if he wants to be the best, then he's going to have to fight people like me or Arlovsky or Rothwell or whoever. You know, he needs to do that. And last I checked, he didn't beat me. No, it was the other way around.
Yeah, you're right.
No doubt.
John, what else you got for Josh?
Well, obviously you fought all over the world, top-level organizations, and Affliction is coming on, making this huge splash. We haven't had the card yet, but how has the build-up been for you? You're close to Tom. You've been around him. Does it look like this is an organization that can make an impact in the long haul, or does it look like it's going to be just a few event promo type deal like it was originally conceived?
No, they have the ability to go along with this because of a great network of connections outside of the MMA industry, and if they can really make those work for them, then they're going to have an outlet, a force behind them that other MMA startups won't have access to. They have a huge network for getting out their message. They have a huge network for promoting. They've got the ability to generate revenues from outside sources from the MMA industry, and that I think is a real key point in this whole market, because the MMA market in and of itself has only so many dollars to go around. And chances are they're going to throw them all at UFC or possibly Elite XC because of CBS. But really, Affliction isn't based completely on that. That gives them a leg up, and they've got, if they just worked within what is available just from this first card and some of the people that have been talked about for the second card, they've got the ability to put together some stellar shows. You know,
so this might not be a one-time thing. You're saying the names are starting to stack up for a very
well.
Good
The plan
card
is for three initially. So
and they'll be stacked as well.
I expect so. I'll be fighting on them.
Okay.
Who else? You know, who else do you need? I'm sure
So
Bob
right
will
there.
be right there next to me. So we're good. And you know, maybe I can bring in like Megumi Fuji or someone like that. You know, there's the ability for them to bring in people from anywhere in the world. Is really all up to them.
Will they be tied down here in SoCal, the backyard of Affliction, the backyard of Josh Barnett?
I think it's a good place, and the majority of people who go to Vegas to watch UFC are from SoCal anyways.
Exactly.
So if this is really, and SoCal is the hotbed, this is the MMA mecca of the U.S., not Vegas.
That's what I tell people.
You know, people ask me
A lot of academies, starting from San Luis Obispo all the way to San Diego. I mean, it's crazy.
Right. There's really not that. I wouldn't. You know, people have asked me, you know, are you going to move to Vegas or whatever? And I go, what for? There's hardly any gyms, and most of the fighters don't live out there. And other than, you know, the UFC that runs there, there's no reason to be there at all. So Southern California is just crawling with fighters, camps, some of the industry within MMA and industry outside of MMA. And not to mention you've got Hollywood and that whole side of things as well.
A lot of people are clamoring, obviously, to know what tomorrow's or Saturday is going to be like with the concert and the whole program put together. Have you had an opportunity to see the setup and give some insight on what fans can expect to see when they show up to the arena or tune in?
I haven't seen much of the construction yet. I did get a glimpse at some of the rigging going up, and it looks like it's going to be pretty dynamite stuff. But I'm a huge Megadeth fan, and I expect that's going to really be awesome. Maybe not for everybody, but I know I'm going to be rocking out. I'm going to be really really pumped to have him play. And I used to listen to Rust in Peace and Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer before every wrestling match and every football game. So it's pretty kick-ass to have Slayer on the same stage as you. And I even got to talk to Dave for a bit with Babalu, and I was just going over all of their different, their catalog and asking about these different songs and making requests. Hopefully, and they're like, well, our set's only so long, and I'm like, well, if you got to pick one, play this one, or we'll see.
Did they say how long that set would be?
What's that? No, I don't remember exactly, and I'm not going to speak for Dave. However it's going to turn out, it's going to turn out. But I know that. I asked him to sing. I made some requests for songs. He's like, man, I haven't sang that song in like 15 years. I'm like, well, I hope you sing it. I hope you sing it on the 19th. When
you first started, there was a quote that said, "You didn't really get into to make money. You wanted to be the baddest man on earth." Obviously, that was when you were younger. Mm-hmm. Now the money's a lot more through the roof than it was when you were first starting out. Is that still the goal, or is the money out there pretty nice now, where you might want to?
No, you see, I treat them as two separate entities. Okay, there's the business side of it and the fight side of it. The fight side of it is #1 for me. That's my job, and I still want to be the baddest man on the planet. I want to beat everybody. I want to crush them, and send them sprawling, without any want to come back and take what I have to offer. But when you work on the business side of things, you detach yourself from that, because you don't go into a business meeting and grab a handful of a guy's hair and smash his face in until his teeth fall out, and then say, hey, now you're going to give me what I want? This just doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. So, that other side.
Have you ever wanted to do that to Dana White, except he doesn't have the hair?
I want to do it to a lot of people. As far as Dana is concerned, he's not a fighter, so I guess that wouldn't really be fair.
Well, he wanted to fight Tito.
Yeah, I guess supposedly, I don't know. If he wants to box me, we can box, kickbox, grapple.
I don't think he wants to do that.
No, because me and Tito are two different animals from that. Again, and I think Tito might beat him up, but he certainly doesn't have the kind of problems mentally that I do.
He doesn't have the toolbox, the rollaway snap-on.
Yeah, he's not big on snap-on tools. I don't know if he's even playing with Craftsman. I don't think he's really big into wrenching on cars, but it's all good. But the business side of things, I have to make sure that the thing, if you want to get where you want to be as a fighter, the business has to be lined up. So I've got Shannon Hooper to take care of that for me. I've got a great lawyer in Tacoma named Marlo DeLange. I've got Marlo DeLange. I've got people that help me out all throughout the business, and you have to fight and be just as competitive to be the top in the business aspect, just to get those opportunities to be the top as the fighter aspect. Because if you aren't seen by getting the kind of sponsorships that get you the notoriety and the placement amongst the fans and the general populace, if you're not out there hitting the shows, getting on the TV time, if you're not making those promoters treat you or give to you the same things that all the top people that you want a fighter getting, then you will become disposable, and you will not get the same sort of treatment, and by not getting that treatment, you will not get the opportunities that these other people are going to get, which means you're not going to get to fight them. So it's a war on two fronts, and we know that didn't work so well, a long time ago, thank God. But in terms of me as a business entity, it's got to work. It's got to happen. So I really personally hate so much of the business side of it. It just drives me nuts. It's the one thing that if I ever think about retiring, it's because of that. I always think about, I'm just so sick of this crap. I put in all my time, 13 years of this stuff. I've been fighting longer than almost any of these promoters have ever even been in this business. And I'm got to the point that it's almost like, I'm not here to have a promoter tell me shit, because they can't tell me shit, because I'm not just a fighter. I've promoted, I've matchmaked, I've helped create organizations, I've managed fighters, trained fighters, you name it in this business, I've done it.
Mm-hmm. And you've been at the top.
And I've been at the top, and I've done all these things at the professional level, not just dicking around. So
it sounds like Tom Tenzio is really behind you and made the statement over and over. He wants to make sure that your status and stock rises here in the United States.
Well, it's gonna.